Hi Ambassadors, welcome to our August Recess training video with all you need to know about visiting your legislators this summer. To kick us off, we're going to do a brief introduction about what is August Recess. Well, August Recess is a time where all members of Congress take a break from their time in Washington, D.C. to go home to their home states and reconnect with their constituents. It's a great time to get your voice heard with your legislator. Having that FaceTime while you're in your home state can help them reassess their priorities for the remainder of the congressional session. It's a really amazing time to impact your legislator and help them understand why it's important to advocate for arthritis. This year, we are launching our premier August Recess Handbook. It's the first ever guide that has been built out with a robust level of detail so that you can understand all the different ways on how to be successful this August recess. In the handbook, you'll find resources on how to prepare your one-sentence story ahead of your visit, how to schedule your meeting, how to find an alternative to a traditional meeting should your legislator not be available. Maybe that's attending a town hall or making a phone call to have this meeting or have your voice heard with your legislative assistant. There are lots and lots of ways to be successful this year, and we're hopeful that our 2019 August Recess Handbook really helps you get where you want to be this August recess. So we're going to go through some of our key tips on how to be successful, and the first and maybe most important is to do your homework. This August recess, when you're approaching your legislators, we have 3 different legislative asks for members of Congress, and then 1 legislative ask for folks at the state level. Yes, that's right. This year we are not limiting our asks only to our members of Congress. Our goal is that ambassadors meet with any legislator that they are able to and have that face-to-face interaction with them. This year, that could mean asking your member of Congress to join our bipartisan congressional caucus for arthritis. It could mean sponsoring the step therapy reform legislation in the House, or sponsoring once it's introduced in the Senate, or to sponsor a new piece of legislation that streamlines prior authorizations for seniors in America. Again, that's a bill in the House, but we are looking for support for potential companion legislation in the Senate. If you're going to meet with your state legislator, you can use our resources to introduce your state legislators to the prevalence of arthritis and how they can help in upcoming legislative sessions. Make sure to reach out to your state director before talking with your state legislators so that if there's a primer on any policies that we might address next year, that you have the most cutting-edge resources and language to address that with your legislators. So whichever ask you're choosing or whichever audience you're going to be addressing, the most important thing is that you can do your homework. Here are some things that you should be asking yourself. Who are the senators and representatives for my state? Where are the offices for these members of Congress and our state legislators? Who are the different local advocates and ambassadors who might be interested in tagging along on my visit? And what is the status of these legislators on our potential asks? You'll want to think about whether or not your member of Congress is already a sponsor on our key legislation, if they're already a member of our Congressional Arthritis Caucus, or maybe they already have a good primer on arthritis issues. In any case, you'll want to tailor your meeting based on their history on our issues and with arthritis. We're going to teach you how. So the first thing that's most important is that you research your legislators. You can use our website. If you go to bit.ly/legislator-lookup, you can simply go into our legislator lookup tool and add in your home address. When you do, you'll pull up a list of all of your legislators, from the President of the United States all the way down to your local assembly person. Within that tool, you're able to see if they've sponsored our targeted legislation that we're looking at by going to the bills section of that page. You're able to see where their districts are or where their in-district offices are so that you can go and visit them in person. You're even able to see the names of their staff and other key details like their email information and the social media information for the office. All of these spaces are really important as we frame our advocacy, not just for this month, but for the whole year. I encourage you to follow your member of Congress or your state legislator on their social media pages. Sign up for their listserv because maybe you won't be able to attend an in-person meeting one-on-one to share your arthritis story with them. But maybe if you're on their listserv, you'll get to find out when they're having a town hall or if they're attending your parade for Labor Day. And if they are, you can think about some alternative routes to getting your voice heard. Maybe you attend the parade as well, wearing one of your Kids Get Arthritis Too t-shirts. Or maybe you go to a town hall and ask one of your questions about arthritis there. Even a virtual town hall works for something like that. The more you know about your legislators, the more of an impact or an ability to influence them you will have. The next step is to schedule an in-district visit. And the most important thing here that I cannot emphasize enough is that the key to scheduling an in-district visit is to politely follow up. Remember that polite persistence persuades politicians. The more that you follow up at the office, the more likely it is that you will secure that meeting that you're looking for. So first, start off by calling your local office. Remember, we have a phone script in our handbook that can guide this interaction. But what you'll want to do is ask for the contact information for the in-district scheduler. Then you'll want to email the scheduler to find out what availability the legislator has to meet with you. If you haven't heard back in a week's time, email the scheduler again. Follow up at least once a week until you hear back. And then, once you've scheduled your meeting, let our team know. At this point, all of the hard, persistent work is done. All you'll have to do from here is just prepare for your visit. So what should you be expecting during your visit? Well, you'll want to make sure that you understand the legislative ask. All of our legislative leave behind documents with full details on each ask are outlined in our handbook. Take a look through the language. If any of it is confusing or you have any questions, reach out to our team. We'll be happy to answer any of the questions that you have. So you'll want to bring that legislative leave behind document with you into your meeting. When you go to your meeting, you'll want to leave that document behind as a leave behind for the office. So if they have any questions, they can refer back to that one-pager about the specifics of your ask. You'll want to remember to tell a personal story. In our handbook, we have guiding questions that can help you hone in on your one-sentence advocacy story. Whenever you're with your member of Congress, you want to remember that you are the expert in your own experience. Now, while the legislation might be something that you don't know every in and out of, you certainly know your experience. And when you can speak to create a sense of empathy and put the person behind the policy for your politician, we have a better ability to impact. So share your personal story and pair with it your leave behind document. If there are any statistics like the prevalence number of people in your state with arthritis, it's great to share that as well. All of these things can be a part of your preparation for your visit and also a part of the conversation with your legislator. Make sure that there, as you craft your personal story, as you leave behind this paper, you remember to make a solid ask. Ask them to co-sponsor our legislation, to join our caucus, or to be a champion with us in their next legislative session. And in the end, you'll want to remember to follow up. The key to creating and lasting relationships with your members of Congress and your state legislators are to follow up. So make sure to send a thank you email or a handwritten note to the people that you meet with. In your handwritten note or your thank you email, you can send an attachment to any of the issue briefs or leave behind documents that you left with the office during the meeting. You can reiterate your personal story and even add any photos that you took during the meeting. Another great way to follow up is to post those photos on social media. tagging your legislators to publicly thank them for the time that they spent with you in your meeting. That's all we have for you today with our August recess handbook highlights as a part of this video. I hope that this has been an enlightening video for you that has helped you to prepare for your visits. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me directly. My email address is jeller@arthritis.org. Best of luck in scheduling your meetings and in sharing your stories with your legislators. Together, we can break down barriers to care this August. Thanks so much for all you do. Talk soon.